Hey everybody, something that's been on my mind recently is the difference in relationship types that we have. Some relationships that we have might be more transactional, and some relationships that we have might be true friendships where we feel like we're really seen by the other person. It made me reflect on how I think about relationships and how my ideas around relationships have changed. When I was younger, I didn't really know who I was, but I saw what got other people respect, what earned other people credibility and safe from the criticisms or the attacks from people who didn't like them. And my interpretation of all of that was I have to be someone who is smart, I have to be someone who's educated, I have to be someone with a lot of accomplishments, and I have to make a lot of money. And I think that is something that many people can relate to, is seeking success as a way of protecting yourself. But on the way to trying to achieve those accomplishments, I realized that sometimes it can develop a really transactional mindset around what relationships are like and what relationships should feel like. Having the idea that relationships are a series of transactions leads to this ideology that you have to constantly be producing and giving in order to be valuable to another person or valuable to the world. And coming from a corporate background and a business background, I think I built a lot of my behavior and my personality off of this, where I constantly was trying to think about what can I give? How can I make myself look better? What does this person need? And how can I be the first person to give it to them? Those were the sorts of questions that were in my mind, especially early on in my career. And it worked because I was rewarded for that. And I thought that that's what I needed to do in order to be successful. And it wasn't until I started meeting people who seemed more secure in how they were going about life that I started to question whether or not this fear-based fuel that I had in me was the right way to be feeling, even though I was achieving the same things as other people and sometimes achieving better things than other people. But what really sort of struck me was, even though I am building towards this success, even though things are going well on the outside, is this how I should be feeling? Over trial and error, I realized that the answer was no. I don't have to be feeling this way in order to achieve the things that I want to achieve. It was the only way I knew how to live life. I only knew how to be reactive when someone demanded something or needed something. I only knew how to move quickly because I was fueled by fear or stress. And I thought that because it was working, it was the only way that I should be living. And I thought that if I kept on giving, at some point, the stress would start to lessen and I would start to feel better. That didn't happen because I would experience burnout over and over and over again. And I would give, work. Things would be great for the time being, but when I couldn't sustain it, that's when things would fall apart. The foundation of that behavior, I've come to realize, is this belief that I need to be the giver in my relationships. Because if I don't give, then this person might not like me. Or if I don't produce value, this person might not want to spend time with me. I always felt like I was in this rat race to be top of mind for other people, that I needed to be present in order to be noticed and be included. This idea around transactional relationships, whether they're formal transactions or these micro social transactions that we live through in our lives, I think it's something that we all need to unpack because it's something that we all do in some way, where if we really ask ourselves, why am I doing this thing? If the answer is because I'm hoping for a specific result, that's something that we need to let go because it's not in our control. Part of that has just been staying still and not doing too much out of reactivity and just seeing who makes me feel good when I'm in a conversation with them or when I'm spending time with them. Just really paying attention to that intuition of when I am with this person, energetically, how do I feel? And do I feel good about myself every time after I hang out with them? And if the answer is yes, then you know that this is someone to keep in your life. And really being able to pay attention to, how do I feel when I'm with this person or when with this group of people? But if you feel like you're performing when you're with someone else, or if you feel like oh, if I wasn't giving this person this thing, if I wasn't giving them something that they needed, I wouldn't hear from them for years. That's another signal. And even people who hit you up with an ask, and that's the only time that you ever talk to them, like those are relationships that we can probably accept at work, but not in our personal lives. And I am growing into the mindset that I don't even want to accept that at work. I'm trying to bring this more into my life where I am creating a foundation where my relationships are not based on transaction. They're based on someone else being able to see me, understand me, and make a decision out of their free will that I want this person in my life and I see them and that's what I want in my life. Like I want that. And I think I've also seen this in my dating life too, where if you show up as your true self and you're not pretending and putting on a performance during the dating stages with someone, and you know that you're putting your best forward, you have no control over how that person reacts to you or if that person wants you. The person who is meant for you will see that as valuable. Because in order for someone to see you as valuable, it means that they would have had to do the work to realize just how valuable you are. And that's nothing that we should take personally. It just means that we've done different work. We've done different internal work. And as much as we might want to sort of influence someone into liking us, we really just have to sit back and tell ourselves, okay, I showed up how I wanted to show up. Who is reciprocating because they see value in what I brought to the table? And who is showing interest because of how I am when I am being my realist? And it's sort of like the calm fisherman. If you could be trying to catch a fish and you could jump into the water and try to chase the fish that you want and exert all of this energy. Or you could be the calm fisherman who throws out the bait. You know, it's the best tasting bait that you've got, and you let it flow through the water and you let the different fish sort of poke around it. And some fish will be like, this is not my vibe. And they'll swim away. And there'll be some fish will be like, oh, this is tasty, but I don't know if I like want to go through the effort of trying to get it off this hook. Or you could find a fish who's like, okay, that's the meal I want. Silly example, but you get what I mean. It's just having equanimity in who you are and letting the people and the things that naturally gravitate towards whatever you're putting out into the world come to you. When you start from that place, relationships become less transactional. Those are the kind of relationships that I want moving forward. And I've been trying to be really mindful about making the distinction between relationships that are transactional and ones that are based on true love and acceptance and seeing each other. I'm also trying to be mindful about the ways in which the relationships that I do want to keep that are based in transaction, how I can start to shift those relationships around so that they're more real and holistic in terms of what it means to be in relationship with another person. I think that this is something that if we all started to do, we'd find a lot of happiness because we'd never doubt ourselves and our self-worth because we can start to really trust that these people who are around me really love me for me and nothing else. You know, if I wasn't giving them stuff, if I wasn't their emotional support system, if I wasn't giving them money and resources, if I wasn't giving them access to things that help them personally, they would still be in my life and they would still make time for me because they see me. And ultimately, I think that's what every human wants is we all want to be seen and we all need community. And we can tell ourselves that we have that through transactional relationships. But if we really took a step back, could we honestly answer for ourselves that we are living the kind of life where we've built a perfect ecosystem of energetic exchange where the relationships that we have are mutually fulfilling and helping us grow. And I don't have that yet, but it's always the goal or it's becoming the goal. Because I think that all of these ideas and self-doubts and uncertainty that might pop into my brain every now and then when I'm not feeling my best, I have a strong inkling that those will start to go away if and when I start to cultivate these relationships that are truly based on love and mutual benefit and out of free will, just wanting the other person, whether those are friendships, familial relationships, or romantic relationships. It's all about just being steady and grounded in yourself and knowing that what you have and who you are, what you have to offer, it's already valuable. Do yourself the favor of making room for the relationships in your life that really fill your cup and make you feel seen, and draw boundaries around the relationships that make you feel like you have to constantly produce and give in order to be a person who is of value. And I hope that you build the kind of community around you where you feel and believe that just who you are is enough. All right, y'all. Until next time, take care.